Om Shanti. Today there is a question and I will begin with that. So the question is that even if I wake up in the morning, I feel very sleepy during Amrit Vela. So what is the point of waking up? Yes, so my whole Amrit Vela is I don't experience anything because of the sleep. So what is the point of waking up? And there are many intelligent ones in the class who have figured out that there's no point in waking up, so they don't even try. Yes, so and then there's someone who is confused about what is the point, so whether they should keep trying or stop trying. Now, to answer this question, what we first need to understand is, why do I feel sleepy? So, it is because of impurity. So it is the impurity of the soul. And it's not because you are impure or you're doing something impure. It's just the way it is now that we souls have had a journey of 84 births, and according to the plan of drama, at this point of time we are at our impurest. Yes, so every soul is. And then impure souls, for impure souls, it is very difficult to do any pure karma. Yes, anything which is pure and which is in alignment with our true nature becomes very difficult because I am not internally aligned with my true nature. Now, if the reason is impurity, then the solution is purity. So you are not feeling sleepy because there is some lack of sleep. If the reason for feeling sleepy was lack of sleep, then sleeping more would have solved the problem. But the reason is not because there is lack of sleep, there is lack of purity. Now, if you don't meditate in the morning, even if you are able to meditate only for 30 seconds in that 45 minutes, that's a beginning, you see, and if you don't even do that much, then the remembrance that is going to give you the power of purity will not be a part of you. So, if you stop waking up because you're feeling sleepy, then there is no chance that tomorrow you will suddenly not feel sleepy and start waking up. So you have to work towards it. And it's very simple to understand. When you are not able to do something, you practice doing it. And practice makes you perfect. And practicing at the right time, in the right environment is very, very important. And if I stop practicing because I can't do it, then what am I expecting? Tomorrow suddenly something is going to happen and I'll start doing it or what? So I have to work towards it. Yes. So if I'm feeling sleepy, then the answer is not to fall asleep. The answer is to stay awake. And even if for those 45 minutes I'm not able, I'm half sleeping, half awake, don't judge yourself for it. You just try to stay awake as much as you can. And if you can't focus your man and buddhi on Baba, or you can't withdraw it from your body's sleep and your sleep is pulling your attention, then try reading something. Try reading something, try listening to something. So there are various methods you have to adopt so that and that something has to be knowledgeful, right? So try reading the Murli or reading something that some versions of Baba, that is the Avyakt Murli or the Sakar Murli, and then try listening to, maybe even if a commentary, the pace of the commentary makes you fall asleep, then you try listening to a class in the morning. But fill yourself with something powerful, something pure in the morning. And don't let that time just slip away. And even if you are not able to stay awake the whole time, don't judge yourself for it. You will do it better tomorrow. Don't lose your self-respect. See, you have to work with yourself. Now, let's take an example of our relationship with the body. Now, let's say my body has some pain and I identify with the body, and because of that pain, maybe I'm not able to function well. And if I lose my self-respect that I'm not able to function well because the body is not well, then how will I regain my health? Through working out with the body. Yes, so you need to work with the body to get the body back in shape. And for that, you need to detach from this ego that my body defines me. So even if you're feeling sleepy, don't take the swaman, I am a sleephead. Yes, so you have to take the swaman that I am an awake and aware soul, and it is okay. Even if I am feeling sleepy today, tomorrow I won't, and it's okay. So let me just persevere. So will sleep kill you? If you just are half sleepy, half awake for 45 minutes, what's the issue? The issue is nothing. So you make good of whatever time you are awake, and then slowly, gradually you will be in the practice. And then also understand that the basic reason why we feel sleepy is impurity. So try to figure out what is it during the day that you are doing which is filling you, the soul, with impurity. So what kind of stuff am I watching, or what am I listening to, or what is the way I'm approaching relationships, or am I going into too much of expansion of thoughts while working? So am I following Srimad? Am I keeping myself detached and loving during the day? And am I following the discipline of pure food, pure vision, pure hearing during the day? Because if I'm filling my inner world with junk, then it's not going to give me spiritual health. And somebody who is not spiritually healthy cannot perform acrobatics like meditation. So, you need good spiritual health to do this intense spiritual work, which is meditation. So, just check what you're feeding yourself with during the day. And the soul is fed through the mind, the buddhi, the sanskars, and all the five senses. So your mouth, your ears, your eyes. So everything is supplying whatever food you are getting. So just check the quality of food you are taking. And if it is impure, if it is not based on Srimad, then I don't think that when we say I want to meditate, it's an honest statement. Because, honesty is when you are making an effort with the mansa vacha karmana. So, with the mind, with the words, and with the actions, your effort shows. Only then we can be said that we are honest about our pursuit of meditation. So we need to be clear about these things. So Sleeping more is not going to, fill your hole of sleep. And how many of you have conquered sleep by sleeping more? So you don't conquer sleep by sleeping more, you conquer sleep by waking up. So that's what you do. And what makes you think that you are qualified to be a very good yogi on the first day? So we are not qualified enough to be a very good yogi on the first day, and Baba has pronounced that so clearly in the Murli for us that we souls have taken 84 births. So are we not getting the knowledge that my condition is really bad? Yes, so my inner condition is not good, and I have to understand that, accept that, and also not stay in the awareness of my bad condition. I have to stay in the awareness that my condition was very good and will be very good, and in the awareness that the Almighty is with me, so nothing is impossible for me. But I have to nevertheless understand that my condition is not good, and this understanding will free me from the expectation that I should be a very good yogi the first day. It's not going to happen the first day, and it's going to take pretty long. And pretty long also depends on how long, depends on the effort you're making. Because 0 multiplied by 10 million is also 0. So no effort, and then even if you look at yourself after a very long time, you're still there, because, or probably more degraded, because even, time will help those who make good use of time. And if we waste time, then even time can't help us. So this is the spiritual law, and we need to understand that. Now there is this, there is today's Murli, and in today's Murli, Baba says that, every religion, so Christianity came 2000 years back, Christ came 2000 years back, and then around 2200 years back, Buddha came. And Baba says that all the religions who came after the deity religion are continuing. So they have not forgotten themselves. So the Christians are not to be reminded that you remember Christ, or you follow the rituals that are there in Christianity. So nobody needs to be reminded, because every other religion remembers themselves. But here, the deity, the ones who belong to the deity religion have forgotten that we were deities. And we have forgotten our whole religion. We have forgotten our deity practices. We have forgotten our deity virtues. And we have become totally the opposite of deities. And it's such hard work for Baba to come and remind us of who we really were. And Baba says, you're the only ones who forgot who you were. And now Baba is taking all this pain to remind us of our original, dharana. Dharana means the set of virtues and powers and the practices and the culture we had, and how we did what we did, why we did what we did. So we have forgotten all of that. We have forgotten the sanskars, we have forgotten the culture. And Baba says, now I'm reminding you. And now you have shifted to a very different consciousness that I am this. You identify with the present condition, and it's so difficult for you to be reminded of who you really were. So this is something that Baba says today, and Baba does this, carries out this big task for us, of really reminding who we were. And do you It's very interesting that when Baba uses words like we were perfectly viceless in the golden age, and when we were deities, we were viceless. Now we hear this word viceless, but coming to the awareness and the realization of what it actually means is a big task. So, can you understand that you are doing everything? You're using your body, mind, wealth, you are in relationships, doing your work, and there is no body consciousness, there is no attachment, there is no greed. So, can you run a business without greed? So, and Baba mentions that specifically today, that a businessman had no greed in Satyug. So, in a world and in an age where our motivation for every action comes from vices, we don't know how to, and even sannyas dharam kind of taught us that if you don't need anything, don't do anything, go to the jungle, rest there. So, they told us that you can rise above needs, but we have never seen an example of being active without needs. So, we don't know how to do karma without wanting something. And we have never seen an example like that in the whole of, whatever history we remember. So, when Baba says that in the golden age, you did everything, you stayed in the household, you married not for lust. Now, these days people say, why marry if there is no need for lust? So people marry for lust. And that's why it's it's very important that we think about a world in which Baba says you belong to that world where you married not for lust, and there was no lust between a husband and a wife, and then there was no attachment with children, there was no attachment in relationships. So you just watered them as your duty and you allowed them to flower into what they were destined to flower into. And then you conducted a business without greed. So you didn't do it for what you get. You did it because it was the right thing to do. So if you felt that the society needed some supply, you supplied it. Not because it gave you something that you needed, but because you had everything and you thought that you should supply what the society needs. And then we didn't have, we had positions and status. So there was a king, there was a minister, there was a wealthy man, and there was a subject. So there were various status, but then it didn't make you greater than or less than the other person. So a king did not feel greater than the subject. And he carried out the duties of the king. He carried out the responsibilities of the king and the task of the king. Obviously, the king had to do a lot. But then he did all of that not for the status he enjoyed. So he didn't enjoy being greater than everybody. He just knew he had to be that and he had to do that. And a subject didn't do something because he was less than and he was obliged to do it. So, a subject didn't feel obliged to uh, be obedient to the king or carry out the duties that he was supposed to. They did it because they knew that this is their role and they had to do it. So this is the society in Satyug, where our relationships and how we operate in relationships and the work we do is not related to the awareness of who we are. So, it doesn't give us the identity of who we are. So we are who we are and we do as we are and we conduct ourselves as we are. And can we do that? So this is why Baba says, if you want to go to Satyug, you have to become totally soul conscious. And what is totally soul conscious? Totally soul conscious means I the soul am knowledgeful, I the soul am peaceful, I the soul am pure, I the soul am loveful. So come what may, I behave according to my nature. My context, the one in front of me, the kind of work I'm given doesn't define who I become. So, I am who I am, wherever I am, whoever I am with, or whatever I'm doing. It's not like if you're asked to, give a lecture, you feel you give it sweetly, and then you ask to wash dishes and you do it with bitterness. So then the work defines your state of mind. Yes. And you don't define the quality of the work you do. So Baba says, become soul conscious. You are who you are, and when you realize who you are, that is, I am pure, I am peaceful, I am loveful, I am knowledgeful. I know the knowledge of karma. I know that this karma gives me this return. So I do my karma with the pure intention and the purity of the state of mind that every karma deserves. It doesn't matter who I'm working with, what I'm doing, or in what context I'm doing my karma. So, do you do that? Or who you are is defined by who you are with, or what you are doing, or what your surroundings are. So even if somebody is shouting at you, are you still the sweet person that Baba sees you as? Yes, so that's when you see yourself and do everything. You're soul conscious, you're not other conscious. And we are living in a time when people say, excuse me, you were sweet to me, but I was bitter to you because I was thinking of someone else. So, sometimes not even our context, but our memories, we are under the sway of our memories, and in those days we are bitter, and then we are even bitter to the sweet ones. And we don't even know that, if a child comes and talks sweetly to the parent, and the parent says, why don't you just go and do your homework? I'm not in a good frame of mind. My boss scolded at me. So instead of even seeing the one who is in front of us physically, we are remembering the one who was bitter to us. So Baba says, so we are one stage like even away from so people say, that we are very in tune with the reality, and people say that we are trying to, so you people are telling us to visualize and we are in tune with reality. But if you were in tune with reality, then you would talk sweetly to the person who is sweet with you. But do you always do that? So, and there are several people who talk to us sweetly and we are not sweet to them because we are remembering the ones who are bitter to us. And if we are doing that, then is it not possible that you are, even when somebody is talking bitterly to us, if you are in remembrance of the one who is the sweetest, that is Baba, then you can be sweet to them. So Baba says, remember me and be totally soul conscious and make this big shift from your body conscious way of operating and operating under vices. So one thing is not being soul conscious, being in the consciousness of the environment or being in the consciousness of the people who you are with, or your memories. So all of that, and then there is not operating under the influence of vices. So don't marry for lust. Yes. Don't think that the basis of your relationship with your partner is lust, and they're only good for you if they are supplying that lust to you. Yes, your spouse is not your source of lust. They are more than that. Start seeing them like that. They are not an object, they are a person. Yes, and when you are conducting business, don't see the client as a source of profit. See them as a soul and give them what they need. And if you give them what they need, then they will give you anyways, so the drama will give you back. Even if a person doesn't pay you back, no problem, the drama will give you back. And just give them what they need. Look at them as a person. So, look at them as a soul who needs, so every soul needs a smile, a happy, a happy demeanor, and everybody needs a loving gesture. Everybody needs sweet words. Just give them that along with the supply you're providing them. And just look at them as souls. And nobody's not going to pay you and run away. Everybody's going to pay you for the thing they get. But why do you have to do it with greed? You can just do it as yourself. So, you can be a soul and still be a successful businessman. And, there is this, I have a very big issue with this, with the way we approach this word selfless. So, there is this idea that selfless means free. Selfless doesn't mean free. Selfless means without expectation of return. Okay, and without expectation of return doesn't mean there'll be no return, because if the rule is that When there is no expectation of return, there will be no return. Then that means that whenever you need return, you have to expect it. So then it means that vices is the only way to get something. But that's not true. The truth is, there is a law of karma, and the law of karma says you will get whatever you give. And if I don't get as I give, then the law of karma is not working well. And the law of karma is failing. That's not true. So you are on the karmic field of action, and when you do something selflessly, it doesn't mean you will not be rewarded. And if actually selfless people went hungry, then selflessness would not be a virtue. So selflessness doesn't mean that you don't get anything in return. And if you get something in return, then you are a culprit because you didn't do it selflessly. It's not like that. There is the law of karma, and anybody who does good karma is going to get 100-fold return. But whether the karma is selfish or selfless is defined by the intention with which you do it. So when you are a businessman and you are giving something, you will get something. But you don't have to do it with the intention of getting. You can do it altruistically and you will still get 100-fold of it. Because your karma is pure karma. So it doesn't mean that you will not get anything in return and you will sleep hungry. And it doesn't mean that if somebody pays you, then you say, no, this is selfless action, so don't give money. So it doesn't mean that. Selfless action doesn't mean free action. There is a very big problem in this body conscious world. Selfless action means an action which is not done with the intention of expecting something in return. It's not done with the expectation of getting something. But that doesn't mean it will not get you anything. It will get you something. And if you're doing selfless seva, you should also inspire people to give. And there is no problem with inspiring people to give. Because when you have understood you cannot get without giving, then the other person also needs to understand that they cannot get without giving. So there is no problem with promoting selfless action and promoting, this behavior where everything is given free and you just encourage people who take everything for free. That's not selfless seva. So there is a lot to be understood in this regard because there are many things that are going wrong. So greed is not the same thing as giving everything free. Or greed, it doesn't mean, attachment doesn't mean callousness. So, but detachment doesn't mean callousness. So detachment doesn't mean you just shove everybody and then you say, I don't care. Detachment means you care, you give the sense of belonging, you accept the person, you do you give them what they need, whether emotionally or physically or whatever. But you don't engage in action with them which makes them a pile-on. And also, you don't do anything with the expectation of return. So that's detachment. So Baba says, vices have to be understood very well because, Sannyas Dharam said that no vices means no action. you go away from the world. But Baba says you lived in a world, you conducted every duty in a viceless fashion in Satyug. So you need to learn how to engage in viceless action now. So doing everything but staying viceless, without greed, without attachment, without ego. So not reminding that you're doing it because you're greater than this person. No, you would do it for even the person you think or he thinks is greater than you. So you don't have to be polite only to the elder. You can be polite to the younger also. Because it's not ego-based. It's not because you think somebody is greater than you that you are sticking to your politeness. So you don't believe in this less than, greater than. Politeness is a virtue and you follow it anyway. Taking care is your virtue, so you take care of the young, you take care of the old, you take care of anybody who is around you. So that's working without ego. How you do things is not defined by the status of the person in front of you. Yes, so that's doing everything without ego. So Baba says that you forgot your religion and you forgot everything that you upheld in your virtues and your culture in the golden age, and now I'm here reminding you, and this only happens with deities. Yes, the Christians don't forget their Christians, the Buddhists don't forget their Buddhists, but deities forget we were deities. And it's amazing Baba has to do such a lot of work to remind us again. And then Baba today says another thing in the Murli, which is, Baba says, in the world, people say that, a parent should divide his property equally. So, if a parent has 4 sons and 2 are eligible, 2 are ineligible also, you divide them equally between the 4 children. But Baba says, this doesn't apply to the spiritual father. So Baba says, I don't divide everything equally just like that. I give you as much as you deserve. And Baba says, it's not like I'm creating heaven, so every child will have a place just by virtue of being a child. So, Baba says, I give the inheritance to the one who is eligible for the inheritance. And if you cannot take care of the property that I give, I cannot give it to you. So if you don't make yourself eligible, make yourself virtuous and full of powers, and learn the skills of how to be in the golden age, then I cannot give you the inheritance of golden age. And here, there is a teaching for every physical parent also. Because when you give something of yours to the other, it is necessary that you ensure that it is put to good use. And we should do away with this Kali-yugi practice of giving away everything because it is based on the relationship that we share with the other. So eligibility has to be ensured, and Baba says the godly law is not that you just give it away equally to everyone. The godly law is you give it to the one who will use it well. And that's why you will get you are my children, and every child is entitled to love, to sustenance, that Baba gives There is no qualification to have Baba's love and sustenance. Every child gets Baba's love and sustenance no matter what. But property, he gives you only if you are eligible. Yes, so Baba says, I give my love and sustenance to every child, and only those who use it to create a Satyugi stage will get the property of Satyug. Okay, Om Shanti.